So growing up, clairvoyance was always like the number one ability of the clairs that was, at least for me, thrown in my face. And then how they made it seem what clairvoyant was. Like you saw things kind of like That's So Raven, which some people do, but I thought that was the only way to see it, just like with the other clairs. Like there's only one way of you receiving the messages that way, but it's not, obviously. So I think a lot of us have those abilities, but we don't know that we have those abilities because we are expecting it to show up in a specific way. Like our intuition, I think we all have it. We all get that nudge of not wanting to do something or wanting to do something, and we don't see it as intuition. We all have intuition in some sorts or fashion. And I mean, we all have our five senses. Well, not all of us have our five senses, but most of us have our five senses. And for instance, I think that's how the clairs comes out, is in your five senses, and then you have the sixth sense, and it comes out in that as well. And I don't think we realize we use them. We're so used to it being just our senses. Like, oh, I smell something. Okay, I smell something. We don't see it as our body syncing up and being in tune and it coming through our senses. Maybe like I talked about before, smelling perfume. Someone can think that, oh, it's just remnants of somebody else being in the room like 20 minutes ago, and it can be. Or maybe you're smelling something, some being, some energy that's there, and that's how your body picks up on it. Maybe if it smells good, maybe it's a different type of energy than it's smelling rotten. And that's how your body, how you pick up on those senses, and it's relayed to you. So maybe you don't see it like how you think, is shown to you, like in movies or in other things, that you're going to see this energy or this being or whatever. Maybe instead you smell it. Maybe instead you feel it. Who knows? But I think that happens a lot, is we think that it has to be a certain way in order for it to be happening, if that makes any sense. So for me, I can't per se see, I don't know if I want to, but I mean, I do get flashes in my head of things, but again, it can be of something else. Like, it can be like a metaphor. So I can get a vision of, I don't know, a cake. I don't know. But, and there ain't no cake, no nothing around. And I can get a flash of that. And it doesn't necessarily mean, literal cake. It can mean something else. Now, I don't know what it can mean, but typically if something like that happens throughout my day, I will get some type of insight on what it means. Maybe I listen to something and it clicks. Maybe somebody talks about cake, and then what else they're talking about in that same sentence or story or whatever, it clicks. I get a message about it. So it's like a little breadcrumbs of, you need to pay attention to this when you hear this. Or it can be a song. I get a lot of songs in my head about things, and the same thing. At first I may not understand, while I got Billie Jean in my head, and then maybe, I don't know, that song comes on, and while that song comes on, something happens. Like I said, little breadcrumbs. But I think it's important for us to try to go within ourselves to figure out why are we having these and how it is portrayed to each of us, because it's all different. Someone else may have the same flash in their head about cake, and it can be totally different than why I have a flash in my head about cake or a song in my head. The interpretation is different for each of us. So I think we need to stop trying to fit into everyone else's interpretation and learn our own. But yeah, what are some things that you encounter with your senses, with your abilities?